I used to hate when people would tell me I'd regret my tattoos when I got older. I literally used to be like, man. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Snitch. How are we doing? Guys, bit of a doozy today. In it, yeah, we're gonna be talking about me and my body and TikTok, so like literally what's new, and more specifically tattoos. Why TikTok, or how TikTok made me somebody who is covered in tattoos, somebody who literally was an inked magazine, that's myself in my article, made me regret them. But first, if you've never seen my face before and you're ever interested in seeing my face again, feel free to subscribe down below. We would love to have you. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me on this little video journey. It means the world. I've made so many videos on my channel, on my Instagram, over time about my tattoos. I'm not sure how many. I only have them on the upper half of my body, but I do have quite a few yaddies. I need to stop with the accent, bro. I'm sorry. For women especially, I am like very heavily tatted. I've talked about my tattoo story, my tattoo journey, about how I always wanted tattoos, but didn't want to be this tattooed. And then I had to get a big cover up for a big messed up tattoo. Long story short, I am now perceived as a very heavily tattooed person, and particularly a very heavily tattooed woman. It's oftentimes the first thing that people notice about me. It definitely has changed the way that I've been treated in public, in my dating life, in the friends I make, my social circles, the places I've been able to live, really everything. Which is kind of weird because for me, I've been getting tattooed for 10 years now. Son, please. I'm 26. I got my first tattoo when I was 16, and I'm so used to them, especially because I haven't gotten a new tattoo since pre-COVID. So to me, they're very much a part of my body, but I recognize in my day-to-day interactions and meeting new people, even in the comments that I get on like TikTok and stuff, that they kind of are my defining physical trait. And there have definitely been moments in the past where I've regretted them to like a point, and that feeling has never been more palpable for me than recently as I've been scrolling through TikTok. If you're also on like core TikTok, you will literally know what I mean. I cannot escape, and I think it's most women in some capacity, the rapid fire Sonic the Hedgehog pace speed with which aesthetics and like these cores go in and out of fashion. I don't know if this developed first on like Pinterest. All of a sudden, I noticed maybe last year, it became really popular to sort of categorize yourself and your fashion and even like your life choices and behavior and your mannerisms on like a certain core. These are basically just like aesthetics. It could be something like fairy core, mermaid core, dark academia, or even I would consider something like clean girl a core. I remember back in the early days, back a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, when cottagecore was really, really popular, and it really struck me, and I was like, I'm going to change my entire life to be cottagecore. But first, we have a sponsor, guys. Can you literally believe it? I can't. Also, Studio Vibes. Your girl's a professional. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Peri Para. If you've never heard of them, where have you been? They are the #1 best-selling lip stain on Amazon. And for a good reason, these bad boys are creamy. They're versatile. In one of these ink velvet lip liner and lip tint sets, you get 2 products. This is the shade Rosy Nude, perfect for everyday wear. You know how they have those like, you know, there's the lip pencils that are hug your skin, feels like you're going to war. And then there are the ones that are like a little bit too soft and you feel like you use a ton of product. This one keeps its structure, but it's still creamy. And then this is my favorite part. This is the ink velvet lip tint. Oh, it's so just, look at my top lip versus my bottom. It just like, makes it look so creamy and soft. Of course, this brand has lip glosses. This is the shade Chilling Rosy. Look at them. This is the shade Edge Nude, and a non-sticky but super glossy clear. Thank you so much, Peri Para, for sponsoring this video. You guys can check them out in the description below. They're having a Valentine's Day sale, 20% off, so make sure to grab any of these beautiful moussey lip tints, the liners, the glossy glosses. Thank you again for sponsoring. Don't know what I'm talking about. Cottagecore is like these really like beautiful, effeminate, prairie, homely, like vintage style, and I thought it was so cute. Went out and I like thrifted a bunch of stuff, and I get back home and I tried everything on, and I basically looked like this. This dress is kind of accurate to the stuff I bought then, and I was so disappointed, bro, because look at me. Like, actually, like, do I look like I belong on a prairie, bestie? Do I look like I belong in a cottage, anywhere, anything other than like a cabin in the woods? Putting ribbons in my hair and, I don't know, doing my makeup like with like flushed cheeks and all of that, and like getting these vintage style dresses. I could do the scarves and the hair, nothing mattered because of my tattoos. Unless my tattoos were covered, I was never gonna give cottagecore. I was never gonna give cottagecore. There's probably like a yadded up cottagecore princess, a bae out there. Bitch, I'm single. But for me, you know, it wasn't working. It was the first time where like I had really tried something stylistically and I feel like it didn't work for me. And it kind of made me side eye them a little bit, but I was mostly like, well, the vast majority of the aesthetics that I do enjoy and the typical ways I like to dress, I feel like my tattoos really enhance them. Just because I couldn't make this work, like it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And then I started going to like way more events, fancy spaces, right? And I found that not only did I not really like how I looked in the dresses, but I also felt a little bit uncomfortable at the events, which is weird because I'm not a person who really gets uncomfortable and like, I don't know, or like I don't feel like I'm supposed to be. Like if I'm there, I feel like I'm freaking supposed to be there. But for some reason, being in a formal dress, I just felt so awkward in these moments. Or even like a wedding. I went to a wedding and I just felt so uncomfortable, even though I was in a very similar dress to all these other like fancy women. I just am so aware that I look so different because of my tattoos and because of how just like loud they are and how aggressive. Formality is just really difficult for me to pull off. And a bunch of my formal style icons are people like David Beckham. He is covered in tattoos and he often looks super formal, super presentable, super respectable. But again, he's a man. You see it more like masculine pop culture figures. And the women who are heavily tatted are typically gay, which bestie same. And I freaking kill in a suit, you know, like an open front suit. I look immaculate, delicious. The tattoos enhance that moment, but in like a formal dress, they just feel awkward. And I feel like if TikTok wasn't constantly throwing these cores at me, it wouldn't be something that I noticed as much, or at least it wasn't something that I noticed up until this point. These categories do all exist in a niche and they do all exist simultaneously, but they also go in and out of favor and fashion. So right now we might be seeing like coquette is really popular and like the Tumblr grunge girl is really popular. The popular grunge girls of like the early 2000s, they are all so freaking thin, and it doesn't mean you can't freaking slay regardless of what you look like, but what's going to be pushed to you is going to look unattainable. Ultimately, something like fairycore, grunge, it's a style. It shouldn't be predicated on a body type or a lack of tattoos or a certain hair texture. But I find that the way that the algorithm is set up on social media and just the way that social media is set up in general, that's like often not the case. Typically, when an aesthetic becomes popular, say it's like the clean girl aesthetic, we're not going to see this like diversity in what I just mentioned, body types, ethnicities, etc. etc. We're gonna see like the skinny white blonde girl. Any aesthetic is exclusionary in some capacity, and I think social media definitely makes that worse. I felt it with my hair, I felt it with my body, I felt it with my race, but for some reason the thing that I feel it the most with is my tattoos. I have a much harder look than what the aesthetic necessitates. I also think that as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm also just becoming like a little bit softer as a person. And I hesitate to even mention this reason because I used to hate when people would tell me I'd regret my tattoos when I got older. I literally used to be like, meh. And I do think I'll just like circle back around when I'm like 50 and love them again and be so happy I had them and like got them on young skin. So this is not to say that you shouldn't get tattooed when you're young, but stylistically, these are very hard, badass tattoos, which reflected me perfectly when I was like 21. That's who I was when I was 18 to 22, hard and bold, and I knew exactly who I was, I thought. And now that I'm 26, I'm like, I actually know nothing, and I wish I had a little bit more real estate to do something a little bit different with my look, maybe a little bit more cohesive. If my body was completely blank, I don't know if I would have gotten anything this big and bold. It's hard to tell. I'm a person that likes change. I'm constantly changing my hair, and I'm a person that gets bored easily. So there is like a mild sense of frustration that I'm stuck with this aesthetic and this style. I kind of see it as like, well, you're also stuck with your face. You know what I mean? Like this is just like a part of me now. This is just what I look like, but it's a little bit of a harder pill to swallow when your body doesn't match an outfit you're trying to wear and you realize that your body doesn't work for that outfit because of a choice that you made. When I got all these tattoos, it was because I have been alternative my entire life. I grew up like a scene kid. Like I said, I wanted tattoos from when I was young. I just kind of felt like, man, I'm really committing to my niche. That's really like who I am. That's what I love. And it wasn't until TikTok that I just got this like hunger and feverishness to try everything. I think it's the same way that the feed works in our brains, where like, I don't know, even with dating, we don't feel like we've ever found the one because there's always something better out there. These dating apps exist and you can swipe, swipe, swipe. Now there's all these aesthetics and these cores, and there's fast fashion, and there are thrift shops everywhere. And it's like you can go around and recreate yourself every single day. And if you're consuming TikTok, you're gonna want to. But now, rather than being really happy I found my style, I'm like, oh my God, wait, what if there's a better style? And a lot of those styles aren't working because they're not really me. I got these tattoos in this style because this is me. I am like a little bit of a harder, more masculine person. Doesn't mean I can't wear dresses like this, but the majority of the time, I'm not. I also think this directly leads to overconsumption. I think this is 100% both a result of and contributing to the massively quickened trend cycle. The fact that like things are popular for a month or two and everybody buys them online for $5 on Shein and then they throw them away, and then there's a new trend that's coming to town. That wasn't the case when I was a teenager. That wasn't even really the case when I started getting tattoos or when I was in college. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I feel that way about having made permanent choices to my body that visually and aesthetically I feel good about, that now I'm like second guessing and sometimes regretting because I'm seeing all these other millions of people who look different and I'm being influenced. You know, to keep people on the app, TikTok is showing popular videos to everybody. So if you click on somebody's popular video that has 100,000 views, chances are you go to their page and every other video of theirs has 300. So you're not seeing people when they're normal and they're just doing normal things. You're seeing people at their most banging thirst trap when their makeup is like its absolute best. And it just leaves you with this feeling of like really needing to become more of an individual, needing to be more interesting, but also needing to like follow trends because you're seeing all these cool people do all these interesting individual things. And you have all these folders on your app where you're taking inspiration because all these people are giving you like all these amazing ideas to really up your style, but you're seeing it for 1,200 different styles and most of them won't work for you anyway because it's their style. And chances are they don't even look that cool like 6 days out of the week. I feel like I'm being crushed by all of it. And that's not even getting into what I talked about in my last video, where it's like, it goes past things like clothes, which you can change, or even like tattoos, surgeries. People are getting surgeries to fit trend cycles and to fit fashion cycles. It's just, TikTok's not going anywhere. Social media is not going anywhere. The way I regulate it is just like taking breaks off social media and dressing for myself and recognizing I can think something is really cool online or someone's outfit is really cool without necessarily liking it for myself. Just accepting in the same way that some things look good for my body shape, some things look good for my body tattoo wise. It's so exhausting. The cores are literally killing us. Maybe I'm completely alone in this, in which case I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. If you made it to the end of this video, hit me with like the evil eye emoji. Let's protect each other from the evil that is core talk, not to be confused with whore talk, which I am also a member. Like this video if you like these like kind of quick, snappy, chatty style videos. I'm excited because I don't think this one will involve much editing. I have just been talking for 20 minutes straight. Thank you for being my friend today and always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.